Today I'm going to be speaking about how to play guitar. We're going to go over the make of the guitar, how everything is set up, how everything's going to work, building chords, learning how to make a solo, practicing, and then finally we're going to go through actually going out and having fun performing if you're at that point or whatever you're going to do. So a guitar is made into three main parts. You've got the body, which is the main part of the guitar, which is usually at the bass. You've got the neck, which is what holds all the frets, and then you also have the tuning end, which is at the very top, which would have all the strings attached to it. The strings, there's usually 6 strings on a standard guitar. They are labeled E, A, D, G, B, E. E is the lowest, A is second, D, G, B, E, all the way up to a high E. Each of them has their own tune to them. The neck is actually what the strings run over, the main part of the guitar where you would put your fingers to actually play. On the neck are frets. Each of the different frets allows you to have a different tune if you're holding down one of the strings or multiple strings to create a chord. And as you work your way up, you get higher pitches. And then from there, you would make chords and do different things with that. To tune, you would, when the strings are attached to the top, you would either turn it clockwise or counterclockwise to turn or tune up and down depending on how you strung the chords, but that would allow you to put it in tune. The body, again, the main part at the bass is what makes a sound. So when you're playing the strings, the body actually, in essence, holds the sound and it pushes it out through the hole, which allows it to create that sound that you hear when you're playing the guitar. That's where that all comes from. So the basics of playing. So you would pluck the strings. You would normally have a pick, or you can use your fingers or fingernails, but you would strum against each of the strings depending on what you're doing. If you're playing one chord or one string at a time, or you're playing chords, you would just strum across them, down or up, and that would be how you would do that. What chords are? Those are the actual, like, the E chord, the D chord. These are the different things that actually most guitarists will use to create, a song. So you'll have some songs that only have a few chords, some that have quite a few. That get more intense as you play harder songs. Strumming the chords, again, you would strum either down or up. That would allow you to actually, create the chord sound. So as you're playing, if you're playing an E chord, you would strum down, you would hear the E. An A or a D, you would go from there. That would allow you to create the sound. Once you've actually learned how to play a chord or two, you would start putting them together. So you would go from like a G to a D to an E to an A, which is a lot of basic songs right there for you. And you would, start moving your fingers across them to actually learn how to play each of the different chords. The rhythm part of it is what really makes a song. So you learn to down, 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 up, down. When you're playing chords, that would allow you to actually create a true rhythm of what you're doing, and that would then create a song from there. Again, G, D, E, A is very good. Capos, what those are actually things that you would put across either a few of the strings, or more often than not across all of the strings, and they actually change the pitch of what you're playing. So some songs are capoed on 1 or 2, and that actually changes the entire song. So you would play your chords up further because they would, in essence, change it higher. Hammer on and hammer off. So when you're playing, you'll hear a lot of times that you'll hear somebody like hammer a finger onto a certain chord or a certain string at a time. That will actually add a little bit more to what you're playing. So when you're playing a chord, say you're playing the G, and you want to hammer on to like the 3rd fret to add a little bit more flavor to it. Bending notes allows you to, again, add a little bit more flavor to what you're playing. So as you're playing a song and you want to bend something up a little bit to give it a little bit higher pitch, you would just take your finger, push it down on the string, and you would pull it either away or push it towards you, and that would change the tone. Muting chords, what that allows you to do is when you're playing, sometimes you'll be playing along, and then you want to, pause the sound, and you would just put your hand or put your, finger across the strings to stop all sound going from it, and that would allow you to, again, add more flavor to the song to make it, pop a little more. tempo is how fast or how slow you play the song. Adding tempo, or tempo is again just one of the main basics of a song. It allows you to choose whether you want it to be very upbeat or very slow. If you want it to be a love song or a party song, the tempo really dictates how that's all going to work. Creating songs is the next step in all this. So you've learned how to play chords. You've learned a few little rhythms you wanted to play. So you figured out kind of how you want it to go. Well, from there, what you're going to do is you're going to create a song. You're going to put all that stuff together, and you're going to, have a good base, a good thing to build off of. Solos, the fun part. What every lead guitarist loves to do. So, you're adding to the song, you're creating it, and you figure out, at this point, right after the bridge or right after this main part, I really want there to be a solo. Well, then, you start playing along. Usually solos are very high up on the fretboard, and you just have fun with it. What can I say here? Practice. Practice is the main part of getting good at anything. If you don't practice, it's not going to work. So you need to go and you need to sit down and spend a couple hours, and just play it over and over and over again until you've got it down perfectly, because without practice, nothing is going to happen. Once you've done all that, once you've figured out your song, once you've made your solo, once you practice it till you've got it down so you can play it in your sleep, you're going to have to go perform. That's the fun part. That's what everybody wants to do. So go out there, have fun, do what you got to do, and hopefully it goes from there for you.